This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai. Check out the Southtown Hyundai Advantage at southtownhyundai.ca.
Just wondering, with this crazy heat we haven't seen a week like this ever.
No.
Have you shut down any form of physical contact with your significant other?
Yeah, Tanner texted in saying she won't go near me right now. She called me a sweaty mouth breather yesterday.
So she's also annoyed of you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which is possible. People are on edge. Sean, how about you?
Well, actually, my new SO and I kind of started to last night, and literally about partway through, we both kind of looked at each other. We're just like, nope, not tonight. Let's try again. It was a bit cooler.
Like maybe in a cold shower, hey?
Exactly. Maybe.
Well, I don't know how that would work out.
Thank you. Yeah, true. Thank you for the call, Sean. We appreciate it.
No problem.
What would you say for like the numbers that are rolling in right now?
There's no one. No one is doing it this week. So if you're feeling very lonely right now, maybe you don't have a partner or a significant other, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
At least you don't have to break somebody's heart who is interested in it.
There are people texting and saying like they have rules when it comes to weather. Spencer said, no lovin' after 28 degrees. That's the rule.
Really?
That's so funny.
Yeah. I bet he didn't make that rule.
I have some friends that went on dates this week and I'm like, how?
Right.
What?
Well, you go to somewhere with AC.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, aren't you just constantly thinking about your sweat stash?
See, isn't there anybody that's like into sweat? I find like sweat very attractive.
When somebody smells like BO?
No, but like a clean sweat.
Laura said, I'm definitely still down. Bonus if your sweat drip drops on my face.
Really?
Yeah, so Laura.
That's my style.
Yeah, that's what I said back. I was like, you and Ryder can go hang out in a sweaty corner somewhere. The rest of us aren't interested. Sheldon texted in, thank you to everybody that listens and contributes to our show. It means so much to us. He said the girlfriend got a sunburn on basically her whole front of her body. So she's a no-touch zone right now. Only the front.
Well, especially if you do the little trick that you've been doing with the dog and you put the sheets in the freezer.
Yes.
And then when you put them down, the dog loves it. So if her front is sunburnt, right?
Uh-huh.
Freezer sheets. Put those on the bed. She'll want to lay down. Game on.
Yesterday, my story was about an 80-year-old woman who finished the Tough Mudder. Mm-hmm. My story again today is something that's just going to make you feel bad about not getting up and being active. Okay? There is an amputee who can only walk for 20 minutes at a time. He lives in England. His name is Ben Lavelle. He's 42 years old. He's got kids. And he lost one of his legs a couple of years back in 2017 due to a blood clot. So that's also a really important PSA. If you're feeling something like hot to touch in the calf, go to the doctor because it could be a blood clot. He has climbed England's 3 highest peaks, a feat that took him 27 hours because after 20 minutes, he has to take off his prosthetic and rest before he can start climbing again.
No way.
The best part about this story is he has raised thousands and thousands of dollars to help pay for kids with prosthetic limbs who can then join his fitness boot camp and holiday retreat called Amp Camp.
Amazing.
I know. I love this story so much.
Tell me something good.
Mine is about Andy Murray, a famous tennis player. And he, in the past, has like really made reporters feel dumb because there is a bit of a, I guess, tone deaf attitude that women's tennis doesn't exist to some reporters. Yeah, it does feel that way. Uh-huh. And so I know that he was asked, like after his Olympic win a few years ago, like, you're the most decorated Olympian tennis player. And he's like, have you heard of the Williams sisters? No, I'm not.
Oh, I love that.
And it just happened again.
Yeah.
He was recently interviewed, and check out how he puts this reporter to shame.
Andy, Sam is the first U.S. player to reach a major semifinal since 2009. How would you describe
male player?
I beg your pardon?
Male player, right?
Yes, first male player. That's for sure.
And then
that
it's
is
just
so embarrassing.
So awkward. You know what? I feel bad for the reporter at the same time if it wasn't a person that normally does have that mentality, because they might have just been like zoned in on asking him a question about
The sport. I do
for
think
him.
if I were a reporter in that moment and I wasn't confident, I would be so nervous to even speak to a professional athlete. But come on.
That guy sounded pretty comfortable. Like he's been around the block a few times, and maybe Andy knew more than we do about that specific reporter
I
and
just
the way they
love
ask
how
questions.
casual he was, like,
Yep.
male.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Tell me something good.
You came across something you want to put me to the test with.
Yeah, and I want our listeners to participate as well. Get your guesses in to 780-784-7107. Are you ready for one of the hardest questions out there?
Yes.
When his name starts with J
Mm-hmm.
and rhymes with a spice.
Okay.
What is his name?
His name.
His name. When his name starts with J and rhymes with a spice.
I have when her name starts with a J and rhymes with a spice with Jill.
Nope, I'm not talking about her.
That'd be Dill.
I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about him.
Japrika.
It's hard, right?
Jinnaman? That's not a name, is it?
No.
Jarlick?
No.
Jeezening Salt?
Jeezening Salt.
No way, Jeezening Jolt.
No. It's an actual name, like a common name.
Got it. Geragano. That's close.
This is a really hard question. Nobody's even guessed yet because they're still racking their brains on the text line.
Jazel? No. Like Jay? Basil?
No. Jazel is not a name.
Jose Marie? No, would that be Jose Marie? Is it a trick question? Jose Marie.
No, it's not the answer. Come on. Somebody's got to get it.
Jerk chicken. Juniper? That's a name.
No. Well,
But is it yeah. I have a friend named Juniper.
no, you don't. You know a cat named Juniper.
Yeah, that cat's my friend. Juniper. That's my final answer.
No, that is not the right answer. So I want to hear from our listeners if somebody could get this right. I don't think anybody will. When his name starts with J and rhymes with a spice. Come on.
Rack your brain. I'm going to figure this out.
No, you're not.
Before we get to traffic and weather in a couple minutes here. And if not, will you give us the answer?
Yes, I will.
All right. This question is driving me nuts because I keep thinking I've figured it out and I keep being wrong.
When his name starts with J and rhymes with a spice.
Is Gianna a name?
No.
Because Cayenne? No.
We got a lot of hilarious guesses on the text line. I think people are just going for it. They don't even know what the spice is, but they're guessing random names. Is it Josh?
Right. Jared, we're getting texts.
And then I'm trying to think, I'm like, is this a question like back at me? Like now I have to try and guess what spice that rhymes with because I can't figure that out. But no, that's not the answer. Do you want to know?
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's driving you crazy.
Well, I really wanted to figure it out, though. But yeah, all right, let me have it.
I'm laughing at the texts that are guessing jalapeno. Like that starts with a J. Somebody named jalapeno?
No, I don't think so. Hal? Like the short?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the answer is Jace.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because it rhymes with mace, which is a spice.
Mace is a spice.
Yeah.
Like what you spray in people's eyes.
No. Mace spice. It's the sister spice of nutmeg.
Oh.
So it is a spice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a yellowish brown spice.
Jace, I would have never got that. It's a stupid game.
But it made you think. It woke your brain up this morning, didn't it?
Yes, so.
Get your friends with that one. When his name starts with J and it rhymes with a spice, they will go crazy. I
still think I was on to something with a few of my guesses. Especially
Jose Mary.
Play 107.
Texter tunes. We want to hear from you. If there are people that are working outside in the heat and you know them personally, maybe it's you. Text in with your name, their name, shout outs. Ryder actually pulled out his acoustic guitar.
Yes.
And he wrote a song. Take it away, Ryder. No. Come on.
To LCD Landscaping, Dirtworks, Brandon, Nick, and Daryl. Here's a shout out from your friend and co-worker Carolyn to TK Elevator Boy, Raquel, RJ, and Matt. I hope you have sunglasses or at least a hat. To Chantel's husband Dustin and Baba, drink lots of liquid. Water, likely your bottle would prefer it, but it can be a beer later because you deserve it. Roadside workers like Angela and Brett, we all appreciate every droplet of sweat. Dan and everyone at Edcore, we hope the chafing isn't making you too sore. Holly wants to thank everyone at Redco Equipment for busting their butts. For those that enjoy being outside in this, we all think you're nuts. Thank you for keeping our world running, Ward Chemical Crew and Farmer Chris.
True.
Your tan will be amazing after we get through this. Now, please take care of yourself, roofers, like Tony and Mac. And don't be embarrassed as everyone has that sweat running down their crack.
I thought you were going to say neck.
Dedication song for you. It's a dedication song for you.
Ryder, that was so beautiful.
I was turning the water off because I was filling the pond in my backyard, this small stinky pond. And right beside the faucet is the window to our roommate Grant's bedroom. Mm-hmm. Now, as I'm walking by, something moved in the corner of my eye, and so I looked. And
why would you look?
Well, I thought like it was a mouse or something. You normally don't see movement. I end up looking directly in his window, and I'm fairly certain I saw him just buck naked laying in his bed. And it was really hot. I don't blame him.
No, not at all.
But it's not something I wanted to see.
No, you shouldn't have looked.
I know that.
It's hard to look away. When you're like, is that person naked?
No, it was easy to look away.
Okay. We don't want you to feel alone in this embarrassing story, Ryder.
According to a poll I read this morning after doing a little research, 41% of people surveyed say they've walked in or saw somebody naked that they wish they wouldn't have, or that it was accidental. You're convinced that our neighbor has seen you naked.
Yeah, I think I'm the naked neighbor, and I'm okay with that. But I've heard this quote before that if you don't have a naked neighbor, you are the naked neighbor. We have her on the phone right now. Have you ever seen Lisa naked?
Well, I personally have not, and I have not heard rumblings otherwise, but you do you, boo. You want to walk around naked. You do whatever you need to.
Okay, well, just a heads up that if you see it, it is what it is.
I'll turn a blind eye for you.
And this happens like as soon as Grant and I leave the house. Lock the doors and off goes everything.
Oh, yeah. It's my favorite. No shame.
You know what? Especially in this temperature. Don't blame you.
Yeah. Michelle wrote in saying, I let a stray cat that I thought was my cat that went missing into my house. So it wasn't her cat.
Right.
It was a stray. At the same time, her dog had a cone on his head because he had an infection on his paw that he kept licking. So this sets the picture, Michelle says. I was taking a shower and I heard the stray cat screeching. I ran out of the shower naked to see my dog was sniffing her, but she got caught underneath his cone and was scratching at his head. They were both by the front door, so I opened the door and the screen, I tried to get the cat to run out, but the screen slammed on her tail. I then tried to free her tail, but she bit me. I stood up screaming as she was still attached to my hand. I looked up, realized I was outside naked with a stray cat on her hand.
Yeah.
Screaming. Saw the taillights of a police car. They stopped, saw me, a naked woman with a dog with a cone around his head and a stray cat hanging off of my hand. They paused, but then they just kept driving. Not my cat, but I got a wicked infection in my hand from the bite.
No.
Were you wearing a cone after?
I guess it's good that it was your hand. If you were naked, there could have been a bunch of places that cat bit by accident that you wouldn't want an infection in.
I love how our listeners are great storytellers. Like, that painted the perfect picture. Yeah. So thank you for the laughs. Christina said, I saw my grandfather naked and he looks exactly like Santa. So that's a visual. So
she's like, every time I see Santa now.
Yeah, exactly.
So one time I was working in a really fancy hotel housekeeping, and I had to go check on a room to drop off. I think I was doing turn down service. So I knocked on the door, and there was no answer, and I knocked again. There was no answer. When I put the key card in, the light flashed green, which meant I could go in, and the guy was standing there, buck naked, on the phone.
Did he even like turn around and hide?
Full frontal, didn't care, just looked at me and was like, shrugged his shoulders, and I closed the door and I ran.
On Play 107.
The heat continues, expecting a high of 37 degrees today. You've probably asked yourself, is it hot enough to fry an egg on a bald man's head? Everybody asks that question,
No,
right?
I'm pretty sure that's only you. But I was intrigued by the question, and we tried it yesterday. Ryder sat underneath the blazing sun. We heated up the pan, aka his head, and I cracked an egg on it. And
Zero sizzle.
no sizzle.
We didn't need Pam because I was
We should have
sweaty.
used Pam. The sweat was too slippery. We needed Pam.
Pam is the slipperiest
like
of all
sticky.
slippies.
It's like a stickiness, no?
No, slippy. But we used a mason jar lid, just the metal part, to hold it in place. And I felt like it was starting to cook. I think if we would have left it for another, 10 or 15 minutes, I think it would have cooked from the top, though, not from my head.
Oh, you never know.
I think it was proven that my head couldn't cook the egg.
We posted this video. It was a live video on Play 107's Facebook page. Ryder, you tweeted it out. So if you want to watch the live footage of it, go for it.
It's pretty wild. It was right after I paid my debts for a bet where I had to eat a hot bowl of soup in the weather. So yeah, it's a sweaty mess. But like as I was so hot that as we like removed the mason jar lid,
Yeah,
let
the
it
egg
leak
kind
out.
of slipped out and slid down your face.
I never thought I would say this, but one of the best sensations I've ever had is a raw egg running down my bald head. It was tantalizing.
People use egg white as like a facial.
As soon as you told me that, I was rubbing it in because it felt so nice. I got this tweet about the video from Johnny who said, the ending was the strangest L'Oreal commercial I've ever seen. So give yourself a few minutes to go and watch what is one of the strangest videos we've ever created. Play 107 Edmonton on Facebook, Play 107 YEG everywhere else. It is your parents' anniversary today. 37 years married, is that what you said?
37 years married as of today, 42 years together. And I texted her saying, 42 years and still not sick of each other? Do you want to know what she wrote back to me?
Uh-oh, no.
She had the audacity to write back and say, was that supposed to say still licking each other?
And you said not sick of each other? Oh, so it rhymes.
Mom.
Oh, no.
She's obviously just being funny, but at the same time, parents are so embarrassing.
Well,
I'm all for loving each other.
yes.
But
Happy
come
anniversary.
on.
37 years. I think next year might be my parents' 50th.
Whoa.
Which is just crazy to
Yeah.
think about. You know what, though? I've got a bold statement.
Oh, no. What is it?
They had it easier in past generations.
How?
To keep relationships together. I don't think there were nearly as many distractions.
Okay, I often think about this. Like when Facebook first became a thing, I was like, Mom, Dad, don't even try and tell me that you're not searching like your exes on Facebook.
So here's what I mean by past generations had it easier to keep a relationship going. I look at my grandma and grandpa. If my grandpa, let's say, wanted to be unfaithful,
Okay.
he would have had to get on a horse and ride to a neighboring town in hopes that he would see
Hang out for a while.
a young woman who didn't have connections to the hometown to get back to, and then he would have to convince her that it was worth
Her time.
getting with a married man, even though she was saving herself for marriage because that was a lot more common back then.
Wow, you are painting such a picture right now.
No, of course, Grandpa's not getting on a horse to do that. Like, you look at the relationships now, and shout out to anybody who, makes it 5 years, 10 years of being faithful. I think that's amazing because you get bored one night, fire up Tinder or whatever, like
Thrinder.
all of a sudden everything's in the trash.
Have you heard of Thrinder?
Yeah, that's the threesome Tinder. I mean, no, I haven't. What's that? Wanted to be a little judgy yesterday, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized I was witnessing brilliance.
What happened?
Saw somebody walking down the street with an umbrella. And I was like,
Instant judgment.
yeah, I was like, look at that dumbass.
Well, you never see umbrellas in Alberta. It
not
never rains.
But I was like, there's not a cloud in the sky. Look at this idiot. And then I realized they were just using the umbrella for shade.
It's
and
like
I was
people
like,
that use them at the golf course.
so smart.
You need one. You're going golfing today. You're insane.
Yeah. I just like the sport too much.
Bring an umbrella.
Willing to sacrifice. I hope I lose a little weight out there too. I think I'll be sweating buckets. I actually packed cold cloths that I have in the freezer here at work.
Genius.
And I'll bust those out every time I'm feeling a little hot, pour water on my hat. But yeah, I wish I would have realized that you can use an umbrella in the heat.
Ryder and Lisa.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai.
Play 107.